You can create a StructureSolver solution from a SEG-Y file. The StructureSolver image will be generated from the seismic trace data using a preset color scale, and the calibration for the line automatically set from the SEG-Y header data. In this case, the calibration will include the full location data of the line. You can import either a SEG-Y file of a single 2D section or extract an individual inline or crossline from a 3D survey. We'll first show import from a 2D SEG-Y line. Under File, New Solution, select Import SEG-Y and choose your SEG-Y file. You will first see the basic header data. Check this, make sure it's correct, and press Continue. Now you will see the full details of the SEG-Y line you're importing, the number of the traces in the file. You can select a subset or import the entire section. You can choose which trace identifiers you wish to use. In this case, we're going to import the CDP and the trace IDs, and then select which trace locations you're going to use for your calibration. We'll choose the CDP coordinates. Most importantly, you need to decide whether this is a time section or a depth section. If it's a time section, you will need an average formation velocity to do the depth conversion. If it's a depth section, you don't need to. If needed, put in the elevation of the top trace in meters above sea level and select your color scale. We'll choose the gray color scale and press Import Line to StructureSolver. So here we have the image created from the trace data. If we don't like the color scale, we can go back to our Import SEG-Y dialog and perhaps change. Let's change to a blue, white, red. Import. So now we've updated. If we're comfortable with this, we'll close out of this dialog, press OK, and now we have our solution. At this point, we can save or start our interpretation. Importing a line from a full 3D survey is very similar. Let's choose a SEG-Y file. Now, the principal difference is that it may take somewhat longer to scan the entire file. However, once you have scanned the entire file, you have the option to import multiple inline or crossline files into separate StructureSolver solutions, and I'll just quickly go through that process. As before, we see the details of the full 3D survey, the complete number of traces in the file, the range of inlines, the range of crosslines. Let's choose an inline file to import. Again, we select our trace identifiers, trace location data. This is a time section, so we'll import the average formation velocity and select our color scale, import to StructureSolver. And there is our line. Now, do not close out of the import dialog if you want to import additional inlines or crosslines. At this point, we can go into File, Save. We'll save the solution as inline 2212. And then we return to our Import SEG-Y line dialog and perhaps import a crossline. Same details, import line to StructureSolver, and here's our crossline import. And again, we can save this and then reopen any of these files when we want to do the interpretation. Let us review the detailed information that is included from the SEG-Y header files in the StructureSolver solution. First, we'll display the base map. And as you can see, the line is correctly located in space. Then let's look at Display, Locate and Measure. The location information available now includes not only the distance along track and the depth, but also the XY coordinates of the point, the trace index and CDP number. And since this is from a 3D survey, we also see the inline and crossline indexes. As we move along the section, the point is correctly located on the base map. Please review the other videos in this playlist. They cover all the types of data, image data, calibration data, and location information, and interpretation elements that can easily be added to your StructureSolver solution.